What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Zero to Diamond podcast. I'm your host, Ricky Carruth. I'm on a mission to help reduce the failure rate in the real estate industry by helping you master your skills on the phone, conquer your fears, and changing your mindset. Now let's get into the show. What's up, Zero to Diamond? What's up, real estate agents around the world? Welcome to the Zero to Diamond podcast. I'm your host, Ricky Carruth. Real quick, if you're watching this on a replay or listening to it on a podcast and you want to join the Zero to Diamond Facebook group and watch this show live every week, we have a guest on, or maybe sometimes it's just me answering questions every week, Thursday, 4 o'clock Central. And this week we got Chris Stager.
Welcome.
On the show. Chris is a longtime agent and has now been kind of traveling around sharing his Instagram strategies with other agents around the country. So thought it'd be really awesome to have him on. Me and Chris connected via social media probably about a year ago and just kind of been following each other since. It's been real fun watching him, do his thing, and I'm sure him watching me do mine. And so I wanted to have him on, get to know him a little better, and introduce him to all the rest of you guys, so maybe you can learn something from him. So with that, Chris, welcome to the show, man. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Ricky. I appreciate it. Yes, my name is Chris. I'm here in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, Christmas City for everybody that knows, where we are in the Northeast. But been an agent going in, I'm in my 5th year now, and loving every minute of it. I was a professional golfer for the last 14 and a half years previous to that, and kind of got out of that and was looking for something that I really had a passion to want to do, and here I am in real estate.
So you were a professional golfer. Tell me about that.
So I did that, right out of high school, went to college and decided to turn pro pretty much immediately, and traveled around and played golf for, many years. I've also worked at a few other clubs as a golf professional, taught the game of golf, and opened up my own, teaching academy at one point. And, to this day, I still have clients that, want some golf lessons and always ask to go play. But yeah, it was fun. Wouldn't change it for the world, but that time has passed, and when you get old, you can't exactly the body's not so limber, can't do that stuff anymore, and here I am.
That's kind of like me, dude. I did football, or I did every single sport in high school, and then I wanted to play college football, so I did it for about a year. And then, like you say, my body just couldn't take anymore. And then when I got out of that, I kind of got out of working out altogether. Then my late 20s, I get into mixed martial arts, jiu-jitsu, karate, kickboxing. And so I did that, did a lot of tournaments and stuff. And I guess about a year and a half ago, I finally hung that up. Couldn't take that anymore. The last tournament I did, man, I felt like I was in a car wreck. I couldn't turn my body. If I try to do like this, I had to turn my whole body and stuff. It was crazy. So what led you to real estate? From golf? What was the path there? Did you know somebody, or did you just see something? Or
Yes. As a matter of fact, my family's in real estate. So my father-in-law is the broker of our company here at Century 21 Pinnacle, and I have other family members that are top agents here in our valley. And it was just one of those things where couldn't figure out what I wanted to do in between golf and, I have an 8-year-old son and a 3-year-old son. So I missed a lot of that first year of my 8-year-old son's life, traveling and playing golf and doing all those things. So didn't want to miss any more of that. And kind of was, brought upon me, why don't you try real estate? You'd be good at it, and, you're a people person. And, and I said, after a couple of years of deliberating whether I wanted to do that and off to a slow start, that's how I got into real estate. And honestly, I wish I got in it 15 years ago. It's just something that I have a passion for, and I absolutely love that I made that change. So that's my path to becoming an agent anyway.
Are you a single agent, or do you do the team thing?
I am a single agent like yourself. Currently, I actually do not even have an assistant. I just recently, within the last week, recruited an assistant. So she will not be coming on board for at least another month. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that so that I can really, maximize a little bit more time. So yeah, I do everything. I'm a single agent by myself.
What would you say your niche is? Like, do you do for sale by owners, internet leads? What's your thing?
I love expireds. I love, getting into the expireds, and, every expired, they're heard about something. They're not in a good mood. Their house didn't sell. There's always a bad part of that. And I love to turn that around. Just to be able to help them accomplish the goal that they started out to have and just maybe didn't go for some reason or another, didn't go well, to be able to help them do that. I love expireds. I hit them every day. I don't call them, but I do quite a bit with them. Going to start getting into golf course properties since, I'm an ex-golf professional. So that's the next niche I really want to get into. We've got a lot of country clubs here, so I'm looking forward to doing that.
So do you hit only new expires? Do you do old expires as well?
All of them. I go back 6 months. There's not too many expires in my market that, relist right away. It's usually 2 to 3 months later, is really the bulk of where they will relist. They kind of like they'll wait a while, especially now with snow being outside and winter. They kind of just hold off. But yeah, I'd say 2 to 3 months, but I usually hit them 6 months back.
What would you say would be like a word of advice for people just getting into real estate that want to be successful with expired listings?
Patience. You got to have patience. Maybe 1% will relist right away. My expired, I send out 8 different letters over 3 months' time. I may stop by a few here and there, depending on where they are. I may pick 4 or 5 or 6 of them and, knock on the door after I've sent them 2 or 3 letters. And I don't call them. I know, you preach calling and stuff like that, but I've got 3,700 agents in my market. So I know agents that'll sit there and start calling at 6 a.m. And I, as a home buyer, if I got a phone call with 2 children at 6 a.m., I'm going to be pretty upset. So they get bombarded with phone calls. So that really does not help much. I know some agents will say differently, but I just couple letters, and it's usually not till the 4th or 5th letter or the first door knock to where, I've been getting your letters for the last 3-4 weeks. Now I get to put a face with a name, and then you'd be surprised how many after that would really be open up to talk to you at that point. So I just say patient. I'd say patience for, that's something that you really have to be patient about.
So you send mail outs and then you just wait on them?
To a point, yes. I will, it's hard to get phone numbers these days with, no call lists, and everyone's got cell phones. So I will door knock quite a few of them throughout the time period. It's just I wait a couple weeks before I do that. I'll pick a few, each every other day or every couple days and knock on the doors depending on the area that, I'll pick a few in that area and go from there.
I think this is very interesting, guys. So this is a whole different angle on expireds, okay? So check this out. This is what I'm getting out of this. There's going to be the agents who get up early in the morning and call the new expireds, right? And there's going to be, like you say, 1% of those that go ahead and list, right? So, but Chris here is not worried about that 1% that's going to list in a hurry, right? Because he knows the majority of those expireds aren't going to list immediately. So what he does, he takes is a more low pressure approach, a more, you know, patient approach, sends them mail, door knocks after a couple weeks, stuff of that nature. And I think that's much more effective because you end up in a low pressure situation. The homeowner's more apt to begin this lifelong relationship journey with you. And you also get a bigger percentage, I think, of the pie when you do it like that. Because, like you say, there's a lot, really small percentage who relist immediately. More money is in over time and the longevity of, you know, that bigger percentage listing later. I like that, man.
Yeah, I've definitely seen a better return for that. You know, and you don't get as many doors slammed in your face at that point either. You know, they've kind of put a business card, and they put a face, or they've checked you out online. Everybody checks you out online. They're gonna look at you online through all this stuff, and then you don't quite get as many angry people, and they're very emotional. And believe it or not, there's actually a lot that don't even know their house expired, which is unbelievable to me. You know, that they were never informed, and all of a sudden one morning they've got 100 phone calls, and they're trying to figure out why. So you don't want to talk to them while they're in that state because they don't know why people are calling them. That's just my approach to it.
Yeah, no, I like that. It's actually goes along exactly with what I teach because, you know, I'm so against calling these people that are getting bombarded and going a different route. And I don't know if you've heard me say it, but really my two favorite things is circle prospecting and old expireds. That's kind of my two favorite things, you know, that I've been having all my coaching students do. And I mean, it's so, you know, it falls right in line with it. I think the only thing that I would say that you would be missing out of my playbook is just calling them.
Right.
And,
I agree.
And your thing about what is your reluctance there? What is your game plan there? How do you feel like that is? Do you feel like you could be doing better if you're making the calls, or do you feel like you're happy with where you are, or what's the deal with the no call thing?
Never happy with where I am. If you are happy, you're not doing something right. No, there's really no reluctance. I just, you know, I'm trying to get all the bad stuff out of the way with other agents, and because you know, I wait a little bit, you know, I would call them. It's so much, actually, I feel it's instead of calling them, I'd rather knock on the door face to face.
Yeah.
You know, I'd rather do that, and to me that's better than calling them. Yeah, I've had it where they've not been home, but I try and do it on I might do it on a Saturday or, you know, something like that where, you know, I know majority of them will probably be home. You know, right. I mean, you got to be patient, and yes, am I missing out not calling some of them? Absolutely. But I try not to let that bother me so much.
Yeah.
I do more of my phone calls go to, you know, my sphere and all of that stuff, more or less.
Okay. So, well, there's a lot going on in my mind with this because I know you have your sphere and then you have your expireds that you're going after, right? And then you do deal with an expired. Okay, now they become a part of your sphere. Okay, now you're developing deeper relationships with those people and getting referrals and past clients and repeat business and stuff. And so your sphere continues to grow from that aspect. So a minute ago you say, I'm never happy with where I'm at. So my next question would be, what are you doing to take your business to the next level in 2018? What are you doing to go to that next level?
Reaching out to more people, as many people as I can, no matter where it is. You know, just talking to as many people as I can. You know, a little bit ago, I used to message about 5 people on Facebook a day, 5 people on Instagram a day. But now, you know, I've upped that. We're more into like 20 per day on each platform, because, you know, I'm not reaching a lot of them, but at the same time, there's a lot more people. So I just try and reach out to them every day, or talk to 20 people a day about real estate, no matter where I am throughout the day. You know, and it's just one of those things where just that's how I prospect. You know, like I said, I have no assistant, so I do a lot of the marketing. I do all the marketing by myself. You know, it could be 1 o'clock in the morning and I'm stuffing envelopes just because it's, you know, of the time. So I can have all day to do that prospecting on the phone or through email or whatever the case may be, door knock, all that stuff.
Okay,
That's
so
really it. Just trying to do as much as I can within the
right,
time period of what I've got.
right. So basically, I mean, I get two things out of that answer. It's like number one, okay, Ricky, what I'm doing to go to the next level is to consistently keep the grind happening. Like
Yep.
continuously just keep doing what I'm doing that's been working. Just be consistent with that. So I mean that's part of it is the continuous grind.
Yeah.
I mean you have to be, you know, on that level, and then the other side of it is you're keeping your cup full, like your maximum potential, as much as you can possibly handle at any given time. You're maximizing your breaking point, right? So would you say you're always at your breaking point for how much you can handle at any given time, or could you handle a lot more?
I can handle more, definitely. You know, and it that really just comes with, you know, experience. You know, probably where I was right now, I wouldn't have been able 3 years ago to handle where I'm at right now. Now I can handle probably twice what I'm doing currently by myself. You know, and like I said, that having that assistant will allow me to prospect correctly the more of what I want to do,
Yeah.
and that's, you know, be in front of more people. You know, so that'll allow me to do that. But at the same time, you know, I've got a bunch of systems in place for my follow up, and you know, my follow up is honestly that's the best part of what I do in terms of following up. So I have all kinds of systems in place, and my follow up will go out 20 years if I needed to, and they're touched literally multiple times a week through video texting, video emails. I mean, they're getting something multiple times a week. Everybody in my database. So aside from social media,
That's a
which is where
CRM.
actually, yeah, which is really where most of my business comes from, social media. But I have all of them backed up into my new CRM system. So which has really helped with follow up, and that's where I feel I'm going to end up doubling doubling my businesses through that follow up, because that was very difficult for me the last few years. You know, getting all this business, and my follow up, I'll be honest, was not very good. I needed to get something in, really a good system in place, and I finally did that. And I've already seen dividends from that just in the last 3 months. So
What is it? Is it a secret CRM?
I use Perfect Storm,
Okay.
and through Josh Smith, and it's fantastic. I have the ability to add, my lender partners in there and all of that. So I'm not just the one. I'm not just the one following up. I have my lender partners, which have access to my CRM following up as well. So even though I'm not touching them with a phone call, they are, or an email, they are, and I can see all the notes that they've done. So a lot of times, I may not be able to get to them, but we just had two this week. One went under contract from somebody I put in there a month ago, and the lender was able to follow them up, put them in, and they were ready to go see something, and that was it. So that's really helped in terms of following up. But the system, Josh has a system in place that, you've got a 20-year drip campaign, and it's tremendous. That's the back end. I have the website with it, so everything's connected through social media. If I have someone on Facebook and they're signing up through Facebook to see a house, it takes all of their social media platforms. It puts all their information in. I get alerts. It's pretty good. I haven't seen anything that's better, to do what it does. And like I said, it's helped me follow up with the system, and, really, I think it'll double my business just because I have that.
Right. No, it is. It's amazing what some of these CRMs will do. I don't have a CRM, like as crazy as that sounds. I don't know if I'm dumb or smart when it comes to that. I think it boils down to what works for you. But, I've definitely contemplated, man, jumping on the CRM wagon and, diving in and seeing. But every time I take a close look at it, I look at everything it does, and I'm just like, there's just a part of me that just, it's just like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. What I've been doing just works so well, and I was just like, I'm at the crossroads, will a CRM help me, or will, if me continue to do what I do, where will I benefit the most?
Sure.
Because there's a part of the CRM that it's just like, I don't know, man. I can't put my finger on what I'm not attracted to about CRMs, but I don't know.
For me, it's really helped with the follow up. I mean, I don't want to lose touch. When you start getting a couple hundred people in there, you start to lose touch. So, I don't want to lose touch with them. And even if it's automated and it's not coming from me, at least it's, hello, and I can record, a voice message to them. And I think I 6 months ago on your birthday, I think I sent you a video text message, at one point, but, I can do that right through there, and I can do it and send it out massively. So,
Right.
Stuff like that. And I don't lose touch for that. It hits them immediately. And you're right. If it's not broke, don't fix it. But this is something that for me, I needed, and
Sure.
and I got it, and it's worked.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, man. Look, if I were a new agent, I would absolutely have a CRM, because I'm not Ricky Carruth and I haven't been doing this for 16 years and have a system already in place. Because I have a system in place, that's old school, and I use it, and that's how I stay in touch with all my clients and everything. And, but if I didn't have that in place and I was a new agent in today's world, but at the same time, I'll go on a limb and say the fact that I don't have a CRM, it just goes to show you that, like, CRM can help you, but at the same time, it's not necessary. Like, it may be completely necessary in certain situations, like yours and this and that. But at the end of the day, I think here's the problem with CRMs, and that is that everybody's trying to figure out which one. They're spending too much time trying to figure out which one to use and how to use it, and not enough time trying to actually build their business. I think that's the problem. There's so many CRMs, and everybody's like, which CRM do you use, and all this, and it's like, who cares about that right now? You need to be building your business and talking to people and trying to get some deals under contract. We'll worry about the CRM stuff later. I don't know. I'm just super hyper productive. Like, I'm a super hyper, productive. I want to see results. I want to see action. I want to see, properties closing,
Right. And I'm with you. The biggest thing for me is I had to make that shift, about 24 months ago. It was, so when I bought my house, it was not the best experience. It really wasn't. There was a lot of, it was terrible. And as I got into the business, I could see around me that, there's a lot of poor customer service. There's a lot of people that just they're buying houses or they're selling houses, but they don't have any idea what's going on. So, I really wanted to get in the business and really revitalize that and give the customer service that is relationship based, just like you talk about. And for everything for me is relationship based. I'm more worried about 5 years from now. I want to make sure that 5 years from now that they go to sell or buy their house, they're thinking of me and not just the first person they think of. Basically redefining what customer service is in real estate in my market, because it's not that great. So, and I saw that coming in, and I said, well, this is really where we could stand out. And that's been my motto from day one. The last 24 months have been completely unreal. And it's been fantastic. I switched over to being relationship based. All my social media is both personal and business. I can't tell you how many appointments I go on and clients tell me, man, I feel like I already know you. We've been online for, we've been on Facebook for the last year and a half. And, I feel like I'm part of your family. So when I walk into the appointment, it's pretty much a done deal at that point. I mean, they already like you, they already trust you, and it's for that matter, it's over. And they're comfortable with you, but that's because I put it all out, right out front. I don't try and separate the two. It's who I am, it's what I'm doing, and you either like me or you don't, and that's it. So
yeah. That's where the hard work and the patience comes in, because you work hard to build a name, and then you just be patient with letting them watch you, watch
right.
your social media, watch your signs around town, watch your postcards, watch all your stuff happening until they become ready to buy or sell. I think too many agents are, trying to create motivation when there's no motivation there. I think too many agents are only looking for motivated people, and they throw away the people that aren't ready yet, but like them enough to do a deal. They're just not ready. But those people should go in your database forever. So, like, how many people would you say, not counting people you knew before you got in the business, but just pure clients, how big is your database?
I've probably got about, aside from social media, not counting social media,
Yeah.
I've probably got 400 to 450 in the database. I think it's like 420 that I hit every other day. Plus I've got about 14,000 on Instagram. I'd say, I probably know 1,000 of them, if that, but 1,700. There's a lot on social media, but there's about 420 in the actual database. Not counting, then I have my sphere, which I haven't put them in there. They're more in my social media, more so than, the actual database. But and I hit them through, through messaging most of the time. So I follow up with my CRM clients, but then I also follow up through social media as well, through all of those clients, sphere, all of them. I do that separately because it's more personal. Them, I'll call all of them. And a lot of them aren't buying or selling, but they know somebody who's buying or selling, and it doesn't have to be now. Someone might 2 years from now, whatever the case may be. We all have bills 2 years from now, so
Yeah.
it doesn't. It doesn't really matter when that comes. For me, I want to be able to, not have that roller coaster. This past year, it was the first year I didn't have that roller coaster, which was great. It was kind of a steady move, and it's cold here. It was like 5 degrees last week, and we have snow, and it's pretty cold up here. But
that stuff's for the birds, man. I'm not.
Yeah, it's a hot market. We're down 30% in terms of inventory. We were down 50% in the middle of summer. So, but you know what? Home sales are up 7%. So you can't tell me that they're not buying. It's a hot market regardless of wintertime or not. I love selling in the wintertime. Especially up here. It's beautiful up here. We're Christmas City, so everybody comes here. And I look at it this way: you get rid of all the window shoppers. So anybody coming out here in a foot of snow in 0-degree weather, they're serious.
They're pretty motivated.
Yeah, absolutely. So I love selling in the wintertime.
So, okay, like, so your inventory is way down, but transactions are up.
Correct.
Okay. That's a great place to be. That's a great place to be. That's kind of how my market is. Our inventory is super low, and transactions are a little bit better. Like you said, 7% or something. So, I mean, I think the entire country in general, the market is just on fire. Down here, there's a lot of construction going on and stuff. But I wanna talk about a couple things. One is, and by the way, guys, if you have any questions for me or Chris, just type it in. We'll be glad to answer. It's what this is all about. But
yeah, please have questions. I don't want to see any questions. That means they're all working. But at the same time, I want let's get some questions.
So you said working when it's wintertime.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've just closed a bunch of stuff and I got a lot of stuff under contract, and it was literally from working through November and December when everybody else, most people are not working. They're just kind of going through the
Right.
motions. They're not really pushing really hard. See, that's what I'm pushing the most is through the winter, through November, December. Well, and that's really when it's the hardest to push because you just went through the busy summer. You're kind of worn out. You're kind of tired. It's the ninth inning, and it's like, I can just coast through the end of the year. I've already made what I wanted to make. I've hit all my goals. But what agents don't understand, and what I want to make a point here, is that you're going to get paid in the first quarter of the next year for what you do in the last couple months of the previous year. And so a lot of people they're in the mindset that they can just slow down, and then start over after the first, but then they're going to be behind. So elaborate on that for me for a second.
Yeah, I mean, you live you still have some warm weather here and there, but up here it's cold. So I see a lot of agents, up here basically stop come at Thanksgiving, and from Thanksgiving to New Year's, it's non-existent. I've got for everything that I did November, December, I've got my best January coming up. I've got almost $2 million closing in January, which, I have an average sale price in my market of 185,000. So that's a lot in my market. So yeah, I mean, and that's all stems from what I did in, just continually hitting them in November, December, so that my January, February is going to turn out to be the best January and February until 2019, 20, 21, whatever the case may be. That's, and it does slow down here. I mean, it's cold. There's people, you don't want to go outside sometimes, but yeah, and there's no reason not to. You have a couple days off for Christmas and New Year's, and with the family. I mean, I have 2 children, but still work, still come to the office, still make the phone calls. In my mind, I think the busiest time is between Christmas and New Year's, because everybody's home for the holidays. Everybody family comes and visits for the holidays. They see those signs up. Oh, I wish I lived closer to family, and those are the people that you need to hit and talk to. You want to make sure that you're still, communicating with all them. Say, yeah, how would you like to move here for the holidays? That kind of thing, and maybe we'll take a look at some things. So try and get in front of as many people as possible during that time. I call it the Black Friday of real estate. Between Christmas and New Year's, everyone wishes they were closer to family.
The Black Friday of real estate.
Black Friday of real estate. That's what I call between Christmas and New Year's.
I'm going to write this down. So I got a question here from Franklin Lee. He says, I got on late. What was his strategy for sale by owners or expireds? And does he go door to door? Does he send something to them or hand something to them or put something on the door if they're not home?
I send out 8 letters mixed with postcards over a 3-month period. And then I will send out something actually in the 6th month. I will send out one last letter, but within that time, Franklin, I will door knock. I might pick a certain neighborhood from those expireds, check out who, obviously I go on and make sure that they're still expired, because I don't worry about whether or not they've relisted or not over the first 2 months worth of letters. I mean, I have that on the bottom of my letter, if disregard it if you've listed or whatever. But I will, before I go door knock, I'll make sure that I, so I can map them out and get the most that I can, whether I'm door knocking those or I'll call some of them depending on if they're a little bit further out from my market. I cover a good 45 to 50-minute drive. I cover, a couple counties. So I do a lot here in Bethlehem, but I will also move out to 2 other counties about 40 minutes from where I live. So I do cover a big area.
Basically, Franklin, what he does is he's going for the long term. Like
Correct.
he's not trying to get the deal right now. He's trying to actually kind of like he's trying to
Create a long
slide, he's trying to slide on in there, kind of quietly, kind of under the radar, and then all of a sudden, boom, you have your property listed with him 3 months later, and he sells it. That's his strategy.
Not only that, I mean, not many are going to list in the first month. They're going to take a break, just for whatever reason. They're going to take a break, and you just kind of they're not going to respond to you until 3-4 weeks out anyway. But they've gotten 3 or 4 pieces of mail from you, at that point. So I won't door knock until they're at least 4 weeks out. But they just want to take a break. A lot of them. Some will relist right away. And the ones that relist right away, majority of them are with the same agent. So for the most part, and I think I had mentioned before, there's a lot that don't even know their house is ready to expire. They get 100 phone calls a day, and they're like, "Why are these people calling me?" And they weren't sure, whatever the case may be. But yeah, I see you had a question. Where do I get my leads from? Majority of them are social media. A lot of them for the FSBOs and expireds, right off the MLS, our multiple listing service. Every single morning, they send out basically all the stuff comes up for expireds. I go in the tax records, print out labels, and off we go. That day they're out.
This is very interesting, guys, because Chris here does not call these people. Like, he mails them. This is a direct mail, slow drip campaign, right? For people who don't list right away, who want the low pressure guy that's hardworking, and so he slow drips them. So when you do it this way, you don't miss out on any of them, because you know how some of them you can't find the phone number. Not a problem with Chris's strategy. All of them have a mailing address. So I think this is pretty slick, guys. People that do expireds, if you're calling,
I do get a lot that come back. Whether the house is vacant, they can't, it'll come back to me. And then when I get them back, I just go to the mailing list. I take them out, because I'm not going to send another piece of mail to them that they're not going to get. That's just a waste of, it's just a waste. So I do take them out, but I just continue to do that. And, but yeah, that's correct. But I do get a lot that come back.
I would say this is cool, guys. I like having this on the show, because we're seeing a different angle, right? Everybody's all about calling the expireds, pounding them with the phone. And I think that if you do that, right, and you might find some success, and if that's what you love to do, I think you do that, and then you add what Chris does to that, right? Because you're going to call and you're going to try to pick up the people that want to do deals now, but then you take on Chris's strategy of mailing every single one of them over time, right? And you pick up the ones also that aren't ready to list right away, and you get kind of the best of both worlds. Let's see.
If anybody wants to send me an email, I will send them copies of what I send out. Absolutely. Because I don't just send a letter. I send something with the letter every single time.
Do you create your own letters to expireds?
Yes. Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. And I'll send out a market report with one of them. I'll send out, an article with one of them. I'll send out, testimonials with one of them. So they're getting something besides the letter at each one of them. And then I'll throw in a postcard. And I don't just send the postcard. I send the postcard inside of an envelope, because a lot of times people just see the postcard and throw it out. So they'll open the envelope before, and then they'll see the postcard. And then if they want to throw it out at that point, then so be it. But I do put that in an envelope.
Very interesting, guys. He puts his postcards in an envelope. All right. So let me tell you why I think this is a smart idea. Because a postcard is a different size than a letter. It's almost like a Christmas card kind of thing. And so when the people get that in the mail, they're going to open it because they don't know if it's a Christmas card or a happy Thanksgiving or Valentine's or whatever. They don't know what it is because it's a different size. Interesting.
Yes, and anything. So my market, like I said, the average price in my market is 185,000. So there's not a whole lot of homes listed, at 750 and above throughout the year. So anything that expires at 750 and above, I put my letter in this.
What the hell?
You ever see a poster tube?
Yeah.
Yeah, I put it in a poster tube. Everyone's going to open a poster tube.
Oh my God.
Who's not going to open? Who's not going to open that?
Holy smokes, dude! You're like
that cost me. That cost me 75 cents. That poster tube. I throw the letter in there. I throw maybe a little something else in there, whatever the case may be. Who's not going to open that?
So what do they do? Leave it on their door?
I mail it. It goes in
it doesn't fit in a mailbox.
Yes, it does. It's big enough it's just small enough for a mailbox. You got to find ways for them to open it.
Holy crap, dude.
They got to open it.
All right. You got me on that one.
I'm going to send you one. Who's not going to open it? You're going to open it.
Hey, what's your email?
It's CHRIS STAGER 1121 at Gmail.
Okay, Chris Stager 1121 at Gmail. Message him with the subject of ZTD show, and he'll respond with some stuff for you guys to look at. For you guys who want to look at his stuff. Again, that's his name, Chris Stager. What was it?
1121, which 1121
we had at gmail.com.
Your first ZTT podcast, remember? And I repeat, I think I commented on your YouTube video.
Yeah.
I have an info at Buy, Sell, Live, Lehigh Valley, but at the same time, I've had this email for 15 years.
Yeah.
And if I go change that email, it's it would be a disaster.
I feel you, man. I'm with you on that. Carol wants to know how many transactions you're averaging. How many listings do you average? Do you work with a lot of buyers?
So that goes hand in hand. It's great with your discussion yesterday, your video yesterday. Right now, this past year, I was about 65-35 sellers to buyers.
Nice.
And the buyers came basically, a lot of them come either through referral or came through Phyllis, yes. They either came through a referral or they came from a listing, from the listings themselves, whether it be a yard sign, something along those lines, or basically online. If they inquire about the house, it goes right to me. So that's where a lot of the buyers came from. And the only other buyers that I worked with were all, for the most part, referrals. I try and concentrate on listings. That's been my main focus for a year and a half now. I'm currently I'm going into the new year with, we got 4 more here. So we're going to have 14. We have I got 14 listings going into January, which, really is just a testament of what I did October, November, December, to try and start the year off good,
That's
like
good.
everybody. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I could handle, but I do know that I could probably handle double that on my own before, anything else. So, just trying to get
30. I had to have 30. When I got 30 listings, that's when I had to hire an assistant.
Yeah, that, and I'll have one coming but at the same time, it's, I don't have to worry about inputting them. So that's really not a big deal. But it's, I want as many as I can get, honestly, because once you get them all in escrow, that 80% of them will close. There's going to be a percentage that don't. And it is what it is. You have to average that. You have to average that 20% won't close for some reason or another.
How many transactions are you doing a month?
So I averaged, I could tell you. This is a tough number. Sorry to keep you all waiting. I averaged 4 last year.
4 a month?
Yeah, the goal this year is 6.
Okay. So you're trying to go for 72 deals?
72.
That's a great goal, man. Great goal.
You know, that's where I'd like to be. Obviously, I want to do 100, but you know, at the same time, 72 is a good goal. And if I hit that, like last year, I hit my goal in June. So I had to reevaluate, and hopefully, I get to reevaluate again this year. So
Yeah.
That's the idea.
The way I feel about goals is this: it doesn't matter what the goal is because you're not going to hit it, right? Like you may overshoot it, or you may undershoot it. You're not
Right.
going to hit it. So the reality is you're not going to hit the goal. And so the bottom line is that the goal is not meant to hit. The goal is meant to motivate you. So when you make the
Right.
goal, it's like you even though if it's crazy big, you just believe that you can do it and you commit to it, and then you automatically start taking the actions. And if you fall short, it doesn't matter. We'll try again next year. It's just a driving point to make you do all you can do every single day.
Yeah, I mean, in my long term, you know, this is where the relationships are really going to come in. I'll be honest with you, and my father-in-law, he might be listening, but you know, my ultimate goal, I want to do, and if I have an agent or two with me, you know, I want my ultimate goal is to do more than my brokerage did. So I want to do more than my brokerage did as a whole.
So you want to do more than all the rest of the agents, you mean, in your company?
That's correct.
What was your company's volume last year?
I would think around 66 million.
Okay. And then I'm guessing, all right, hold on. I'll tell you what your volume was. Hold on.
I think I ended up.
I'll tell you, 8.8 million.
You're close. I had a few deals that were tiny, so I think I was at pretty close. Yeah, you're real close.
Yeah, you said 185 average. You did 48 deals.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna get through some questions here. How many letters do you send out a week?
I can answer that question. Do you mean to each person or total?
No, just total.
In general?
Yeah.
We average probably about 10 to 15 expireds a day, with the exception of the first of every month where there's probably 200. So I'd say 100, a little over 100 letters a week.
That's to new people. Then you have all these other letters going out to old people, huh?
Correct. So figure that
200 letters a week.
If you figure that out over a over a 3-month period, because I'm sending them basically a letter a week. I'm sending them 8 letters. Yeah, a couple hundred.
You are pumping out some letters, son. Are you putting you're labeling them. You're doing all this yourself.
Correct. I do that in the off hours. You know, I have 2 kids. You know, I coach baseball. My little one does swimming. So there's a lot. I do a lot. So you know, it's that 12 p.m. to 2 a.m. hour that I stuff envelopes while everyone's sleeping. You know, you got to do what you got to do.
Sure. Let's see. Do you put return addresses on the letters? I'm guessing so.
I do, so that they do get back to me if it's vacant or something like that. I want
put a logo on your letter.
Nope. I try a regular white envelope. I used to handwrite them until I started doing too many, and then I said that's enough's enough. Now I just mail them out.
Let's see. Phyllis says, do you hand address each one? I think I heard you say labels.
I used to, but now I don't. Now I print them.
I think this question already got answered. How often do you send mail? Oh, so how often do you mail each person?
Each week.
Every week. Every week.
Every week. Every week for the first. Basically, it comes out to 9 weeks because I send a postcard too. So, and then I'll send them again. I'll send them. You know, there's a little bit of break, and then I send them another one the following month. Then I send them another one after that, month 3, and then I send them a long-term 6-month one, 6 months out.
Dude, that's some serious stuff to keep up with. Stephen wants to know, is this only strategy for business generating? Any idea what he's talking about?
You mean to generate leads?
I guess. Hey, Stephen, clarify the question, man. We're a little unclear on exactly what you're asking. Give us a clear question, man. We want to answer your question for sure. Nora
I do
here.
a lot.
Okay.
I do a lot of networking. You know.
Yeah.
I do a lot of networking. You know, I have a bunch of network groups. You know, a lot of that stuff that I attend all the time. I do FISBOs as well. I mean, I work with USAA. I work with Carruth relocation. You know, there's a lot of other things that I do for clients, but you know, I have people that work, you know, a lot of our relocation clients come from ExxonMobil, you know, so there's a lot of relocating involved. So I do a lot of that as well. Tons with the veterans. And so there's always a lot more so than just the expireds. I mean, there's a lot of stuff coming. Both buyers and sellers.
Okay, here he goes. He says, is this all he's doing to generate leads for his business? Okay, yeah, you figured it out. You were smarter than I thought. All right. So yeah,
no, there's tons.
He does a lot of stuff, man. He does for sale by owners. He does networks. He works with the different mortgage companies and ExxonMobil and his sphere of influence. You know, and also he treats expireds like a long-term relationship business, not a wham bam thank you ma'am. He's not trying to just get a deal. They expire, try to get a deal. He's working these people for long-term relationships. So it's a completely different strategy.
And I want to say this too, Ricky. You're what you've been doing for the last year is tremendous. You had a guest on a little bit ago. I can't remember her name, but she was working with partners and sending coupon mailouts.
Yeah.
So took that. We're gonna start implementing that as well. Got an inspector to do that. We've got a lender. We've got 2 lender partners to do that. We got a local hair salon that's going to be a partner for that. So I'm going to start implementing that with some vendor partners. I thought that was a great thing that she was doing. So that's something else that we're going to generate. Sally just asked how do we start working with USAA? I do that through my company. We have an A team here that, you know, we go through training and, you know, we have something called Lead Router for us that we put our profile in. You know, my dad used to work for the Army. So, you know, we kind of, you fill out a biography and they can basically, they go in and they choose you as an agent if they're moving to your market. And, you know, but you have to go through some training with USAA. You can check through I think she works for Howard Hanna, so check with them to see if they do any training. But I know through Century 21 we have our USAA training, and we've got about 5 or 6 A-team agents here that work with them, and a lot of times they pick you because, you know, you have a biography and you know, maybe they have an interest. You know, my dad was stationed in Germany. Well, somebody may have been stationed at the same place, and it's kind of a common ground. So they kind of choose you as an agent to work with them.
She also wants to know, did you see a difference when you stopped with writing the addresses versus the label?
Yes, a little bit. It's not as personal, but, you know, like everything in real estate, it's a numbers game over time. So, the time that it took me to write all those, I can't. If I had I need an assistant just to do that. I mean, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And that's why I have one coming on. So, to get me away from all of that so that I can go to 72 to 100 transactions, because doing what I need to do to further the prospecting, aside from, I don't want to say the $8 to $10 an hour work, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
And I can't be doing that at 2 a.m. because I don't start my day great when I'm doing that, to be honest.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, there was a little bit of a difference.
Nora wants to know kind of, I guess, a generality of like what is said in the expired letters.
Just basically, that I understand selling a house is hard. It's not an exact science, and just sometimes you need a different perspective on the home. You may need a different marketing perspective. It's maybe they did market it well and things were good, but maybe you just need a different perspective. Maybe it's a different, you need to target market a different market that agent didn't think of, or I see a lot of so many, and this is crazy, so many photos are taken with a phone. And everybody's buying online these days. If you're not doing professional photography for your listings, even if they're a short sale for closure, spend the money and get professional photography. It makes a world of difference. I have companies that do it for $150. I mean, it's a no-brainer. It really is. That could be the difference in selling a house or not. Selling it online. A lot of my last 6 buyers for my properties have come outside of the state of Pennsylvania. They've either come from Maine, they've come from Colorado, they've come from somewhere else. So, for the expireds, it's really just telling them, maybe you just need a different approach. Let me in the door so I can show you that approach. And if it works for you, it does. If it doesn't, then we move on. But, you can't please everybody, and, but at least get the opportunity to get in the door. I feel if I get in the door, I'm going 10 for 10 all day. I just need to get in the door, and that's all there is to it.
I like the professional photographer comment, and I believe that you should do professional photography even if it's a $20,000 trailer, because it does. This is what it does. When people are looking at your website and your inventory of listings, they're gonna, they're trying to, they're really studying you, and they see that you spent the money on professional photography for 3 of your listings, but the other 2, were done with a phone or some other not professional avenue in there, and it's just inconsistent. All of your listings and all of your pictures need to be consistent, even if it's something you think will never sell. Even if the professional pictures, the money you pay for the pictures is more than the commission you're going to get, you still need to do it, because it's reputation. It's going to be what you're known for.
You really, and it's, if you can outsource whatever you can outsource, do it. If you can outsource the photos, do that. If you can, outsource transaction management, do that. Less on your plate is, the more you can prospect. And your clients have to know, you have to set your expectations with your clients. I'll be honest with you, I've never worked Sunday since I've been in real estate.
Yeah.
I have 2 kids. I have a family. I have a family, but you need to set those expectations with your clients. And for the 1 or 2 you might lose, trust me, you'll have 8 or 9 behind that will respect that and be very comfortable with that and completely understand that. And you can't worry about those 1 or 2. You want those 8 or 9 behind it.
Yeah. Okay, well, look, guys, we're kind of coming to the end of this hour. I want to ask Chris something, and then I want him to give me a question. All right, so I want to ask Chris, and it could be a short answer, right? Nothing long. But if there's a room full of 50 real estate agents and 5 of them are doing really well, the other 45 are not, right? What are those 45 agents doing?
What are they doing wrong?
Yeah, what are they doing? What are they doing on a daily basis that
They
they
don't.
shouldn't be doing?
Two things. Sorry, I'm going to keep it not short. Number one, they don't know what their why is, because if they know what their why is, they'll find their how.
Uh-huh.
Your why has to be big enough, and then you'll find that how. Once you have that, there's no stopping you, honestly. And you really need two things. You need to learn how to say no, and you have to be patient.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Just be
Nice.
patient.
Learn how to say no. Be patient. Right.
And when your why is big enough, you'll find your how.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it goes back to belief. You have to believe what you're doing is right and that you can accomplish. You have to believe in yourself. All right. Let's see if you got a question for me to end the show.
I do have a question for you, Ricky. My question to you is, will you be continuing doing what you're doing for all of us? And for how long?
I'm going to continue doing sales and coaching forever.
Okay.
I'm going to do both. I'm going to maintain $1 million to $2 million a year real estate business while I travel around the country, speaking, coaching, writing books, doing podcasts, all the above. Because here's the thing, there's a couple things. One, I have a super high passion for real estate, and I have a super high passion to reduce the failure rate in the real estate industry. Because there's too many agents that just don't have any direction. And I just feel like what I have gives people direction. And so I feel like if I don't share it, then I'm not doing all I can do, and I just can't live. I can't sleep at night knowing that. The other thing is the way technology is now and where it's going. I'm able to be in Colorado doing a speech and sell property at the same time. I'm able to be here and sell real estate all day today, and then do a podcast with you up in Pennsylvania and do it in front of agents all over the country live, and also put it on YouTube later for another 1,000 people to watch tomorrow. So the way technology is actually allows me to do both. And my passion for both allows me to have the want and the why to figure out the how to actually make it happen.
Well, on behalf of me, thanks for having me. And I'm sure I speak for everybody else when I say thank you to you for everything that you've done as well, for all of us. And if you're listening to this for the first time, if you're listening to Ricky for the first time, go get his books. They are a game changer. Whether you're new, old, in it for 30 years, it doesn't matter. They're a game changer. And I know I read them all, both within 4 days, and it's changed the way I think. So thank you for having me, and thank you for everything you do.
That's very humbling, man. I really appreciate it. We'll
Thank
see
you.
you guys. Y'all have a good day. We'll talk to you soon. If you need me or Chris, you know where to find us. All our information is everywhere. So we're here for you, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.